You are watching One Book, One Review with Wiebke. Hey guys, today I want to tell you about the Leviathan Trilogy by Scott Westerfeld. I'm not completely finished with the last book yet, but I didn't want to make you wait any longer for a video. So let's look at the books. Leviathan is the first book in the trilogy, Behemoth the second, and Goliath is the final one. The story is mainly an adventure story following two characters around the beginning of the Great War, 1914. We have a girl from Scotland who pretends to be a boy to serve on an airship in the Royal Navy, and we have the son of the Archduke who started sort of the war by his murder. Sort of. The story is narrated from these two characters' points of view. We have chapters from Darren, the Scottish girl's point of view, and we have chapters from Alec's point of view, the prince. And in the beginning, of course, they don't start off together. They don't know about each other. But you already know, reading books like this, you know they're going to meet and there's going to be romance and stuff. But when they meet, Alec doesn't know that Darren is a girl because she pretends to be a boy on this airship. And so they become friends and they start their adventure together. So the two characters meet when Alec is on the run from the Germans who try to kill him and the Leviathan is on its way to Istanbul. And due to circumstances, Alec and his men become part of the Leviathan crew, or at least they are aboard the ship. And they travel with them to Istanbul. And in Istanbul they have to undergo some adventures too, and there's a revolution going on and they help that. I'm trying to not give away too much information here, so bear with me. And from Istanbul their adventure takes them across Russia to America. And that's kind of where I am. I don't really know how the story ends yet. I only have about 200 pages more to go, but I really enjoy the adventure. The story and the relationship between the two main characters is really amazing. But what I haven't told you yet is that it's not only an adventure story, but it's a steampunk adventure. So the world that Scott Westerfeld created is an amazing one. He decided to divide the world into Darwinists and Clankers. The Darwinists are people who basically fabricate beasts. The Leviathan is not just an airship, but it's a giant whale and it's an ecosystem of tons of different animals put together. And what is a little bit disgusting and weird to think about is that a huge part of the ship is an alive whale and they walk around inside of him. And yeah, that's a little bit weird, but it's such imaginative and it's just amazing. And there are more animals like that. The Russians have fabricated fighting bears and things like that. So there's a lot of animals that are created and fabricated by the Darwinists. And they're not only used to fight, but also other things. And the Clankers basically are machine-driven countries where they have walkers and they have everything made of machines. Their airships are real airships, like with engines and smoke and stuff. So it's basically a fight between the two philosophies. Scott Westerfeld did a great job of describing the differences between those two philosophies and the people who follow these philosophies, what they believe in. There are some countries like America and Japan and I think Turkey or Istanbul to some part, who are part Clanker and part Darwinist. So there are things mixing. And those countries are the most interesting from my point of view. And what is really interesting in the book is that Alec is a Clanker and Darren is a Darwinist. And we see them both taken out of their normal surrounding and put into the other's living areas or fields. So Alec has to be aboard this Darwinist ship and he sees good things there, so he starts to believe a little bit more in the Darwinism. And Darren, at some point, she's part of Alec's Clanker world. So she sees all the machines and she can see and think about why they like it, why they live like that. So those two main characters give us an insight on like how someone from the other belief sees the world. And I really like that, and it's really intriguing and it's perfectly well created. So only for that, these books are worth reading. And then of course there are the two main characters, Alec and Darren, and they're really likable and interesting. They are well described, they're really round characters, and you can see them evolve and grow stronger separately and together throughout the books and throughout their adventures. We can see throughout the books how Darren becomes a better soldier and people rely on her. And Alec, he's just becoming a stronger person. He starts off as a really naive prince, and by the end now where I am, he's really smart and he's trying to be a ruler and he's just trying to make his way. And it's really interesting how these two characters influence each other and how they deal with all the troubles they have to face. And it's really interesting how everything changes a little bit and not at all when Alec finds out that Darren is a girl. and all the things that happen and how these characters are just evolving. It really makes the story interesting, and you just want to continue reading just to find out what happens next with those two. Apart from the two main characters, we have quite a few other characters surrounding them. We have Count Volger on Alec's side, who's rather dislikable but very smart and protective. Then we have Dr. Barlow on the Darwinist side. She's a scientist, and she fabricated this new kind of species of beasts, and those are very interesting, but I'm not going to tell you anything about those two. And those are really interesting characters as well, because they're smart and they're scheming, and they're the counterpart to the, well, Alec and Daring, they're teenagers, they're 15, 16, so they're very naive and immature. And we have these two grown-ups as counterparts helping them out and guiding them. And I really like that. Another thing I really like about my editions, I don't know if all the Leviathan books have that, but I have illustrations in my book. There are a lot of black and white illustrations that makes the story come alive and support what's going on. Another thing that I really like about it is that in every book there's an afterword where Scott Westerfeld explains what he changed to real history. Like, the story is based on real events, and of course it's not real history with the Darwinists and the Clankers and all the machines that are there, which are not really there in 1914, and the beasts don't exist at all. But anyways, rambling. So he basically tells you what of this is based on true facts and what he changed to make it suit his story. All in all, I have to say, I just love this series. I don't know why I didn't pick it up earlier. I'm just glad I got a box set. So all my books look the same. I really like that. And I just recommend this to anyone. It is sort of like, I think, middle grade, young YA. I don't really know. I'm bad at classifying, but I think it's made for everyone because it's such a gripping story, and it's just well written and enjoyable, and I really like it. Let me know what you think of the Leviathan Trilogy if you've read it. Thank you all for watching, and have a very nice weekend. Bye bye.